Felicity from GetYourRockOut, talking to the legend that is Danny from Thunder. How are you doing today?
I'm very good, thank you, Felicity. Very good indeed.
I'm very glad to hear it. Have you got sunshine where you are?
Yes, it's absolutely splendid.
Wonderful. It seems to have, the country seems to have woken up and realised it's supposed to be getting towards summer now.
Indeed.
So never a bad thing. Let's hope it lasts, eh?
Well, you never know, do you, in England? I try to be positive, but unfortunately it does let me down rather.
Yeah, you see, I just remember, I think a couple of weeks ago, it was glorious sunshine all day and then it started snowing.
Yeah, that's the trouble. You never really know what you're going to get, but I think you just have to enjoy the good bits and try to ignore the bad bits.
Yeah, very, very true. Good stuff, hey? Moving away from the very, very British thing about talking about the weather, you guys have just been confirmed to play Download Festival this year, which is fantastic news for all concerned, and so congratulations on that.
Thank you very much. We're very much looking forward to it.
Now, I can well imagine. I saw you actually at your last performance at Download, which was a couple of years back now, and it was in the tent, and that was just an amazing set all round.
Yeah.
You're playing second stage this time. I'm guessing that you've had some fantastic reaction from the fans so far when you've announced it.
Yes, I think so, yeah. I think it's the great thing about Download is that so many people go to it that it's just brilliant news. The more bands that get added, the more people think, well, I can't believe that I've already got a ticket for this and now I'm going to get to see this band and I'm going to get to see this band and I'm going to get to see this band. It's just, each time they announce the stuff, it's almost like a lot of these festivals, the more successful ones, people go just because of the vibe and then the bands are almost like secondary. And I think that's great from our point of view and obviously from the band's point of view in general, because it just means that you get to play in front of a very enthusiastic bunch of people.
Definitely. And the second stage at Download is absolutely gorgeous as well, and just at the bottom of a little hill as well, so perfect for you guys.
Yeah, we were very, very pleased. Originally there was talk of the main stage, but because we were doing the Journey Whitesnake tour in May, there was some kind of an issue because somebody felt that all the bands on the Iron Maiden stage had to be exclusive to the UK, and I can't remember what it was, but I lost interest anyway and said, well, we'll play wherever, we don't care.
Yes, it's Download, and you're going to go down fantastically, whatever stage you end up playing on.
Oh, I hope so.
I can't see it not happening somehow. Is there anybody else there that you're really looking forward to seeing? If you had a chance to kind of check out the lineup and see, you know what, we're going to make time to see so and so.
I think the biggest problem when you're in our position, you go to do these things, and the moment you arrive, there are people chucking microphones in your faces and asking you to do stuff.
These journalists, eh?
Yeah, bloody pests, all of them. So you've got to do it. Obviously, you've got to do the promotion, and the fact is, when you are in a place where there are so many people that you need to speak to, it does tend to take up the day. So our ability, I know from in the past, our ability to actually watch any other band has always been seriously curtailed. There's always something to do. But obviously, with so many bands, it's a case of just diving around there wherever you can and picking up whatever you can. But there's so many good bands on. I think it's a fantastic festival.
Wonderful. It's nice to hear such positivity about it. And there have been so many people saying, I think, in recent years, oh, it's changed, it's more of a mainstream festival, it's not what it was, and so on and so forth. I'm guessing that you wouldn't necessarily agree with that at all.
Well, I think it has changed, but I think it's inevitable that it will change. Any decent festival has to evolve and has to move with the times, regardless of how it's set up. If it stays the same all the time and it's inflexible, ultimately there will come about periods of time when the bills aren't as good as they could be, and so a whole bunch of audience will be disaffected and won't go. And if it's inflexible like that, ultimately the festival will die.
Yeah,
so you have to have an evolution, and you have to be able to move with the times.
And a lot of people, their main complaint of the kind of rock music world at the moment is that there aren't any bands. Once the kind of, the big bands that we've got going around at the moment, and your big festival headliners, a lot of people are saying that when these bands, stop performing, split up this band, so on and so forth, there's only a very small handful that are actually capable of pulling the crowds to headline festivals at the moment. And lots of people are saying that there isn't the quality coming up nowadays to take over. What do you think about that?
I think that is a much bigger, much wider question, and I think that stems from the wider media, it stems from the record companies, it stems from the global situation financially being pretty dire. I think, without wishing to kind of put my kind of doom and gloom hat on, I think it's a tough time for the music industry in general. And I think because of that, nobody's got any money, audiences don't have money, record companies don't have money, there are no shops left maybe to sell records in.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of opinions about that. The trouble is, it's not a fantastic environment in which to grow new talent. And I think it doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means it has to evolve and it has to change and it has to sort of find a new way to do its thing. I am always, and I've always been very hopeful about the music industry because I know that people want to get together in large groups and enjoy themselves listening to people play music. So, I think, Freddie Mercury said it, quality will out. And I think quality always finds a way to, to rise to the top like cream. And I think that's, I think if there's a whole bunch of average bands out there, that's because a lot of people made a very bad choice. It's not, it's what it is, I think it will change. It always does. And good bands always find a way to get in front of people.
That is very true indeed. And is there anybody that you've got your eye on at the moment? Do you tend to listen to much of the kind of up-and-coming, newer stuff? Is there any band that you would pick out and say, you know what, I really like these guys?
The best band that I've seen for a long time was a three-piece band called the Virgin Marys. I thought they were brilliant.
Fantastic, yes.
I thought they were brilliant. That's the band that I've seen that really, really blew me away. I thought to myself when I saw them, these guys really mean it. They really mean it. There's no mucking about here. These guys mean it. And I like that. I thought they were great. So for me, that's the most impressive thing I've seen for a long time.
Fantastic. Great stuff to hear as well. No, and they are there. I think they're in the process of writing a new album at the moment.
Well, they're in America right now, touring.
Oh, are they? Oh,
yes, they are. Yeah, and they're doing very well, apparently. Yeah, so I'm very hopeful that my prediction was right. I want them to become very successful to prove me right.
Well, obviously, I mean, you couldn't be proved wrong. No, they have to make it. There we go.
I've always been wrong. I've been wrong loads of times. It doesn't fill me with pleasure, but I have to admit it.
Well, hopefully on this score you're right, because they're a lovely bunch of guys as well.
Sure.
So wonderful. And you guys, I mean, the big excitement of the year is the Journey and Whitesnake tour this year, which you guys are special guests on. And we can't wait for that. Are you completely excited about it now?
I think it's getting closer and closer to the point where it's just going to kind of sink in that this is a great opportunity. I mean, when they first offered it to us, there was no hesitation. The band just said, yep, great, I'm not washing my hair. This is great. Let's do it. I think once we actually get there and start doing, we have been rehearsing recently as much as we can bear to do so. We're not a big band for rehearsals. We hate it. We much prefer to be in front of the audience. Yeah. We just go through the motions. You wouldn't believe it if you watched us under rehearsal. It's hilarious. There's a lack of interest going on. It's amazing. But when we actually play the shows, that's when we come alive. That's where the audience is. That's the chance to show off and shake your bum and do your thing. So that's what we'll do.
Wonderful. No, I mean, I can't wait for it. And you've toured with these guys before as well, and so obviously not in the UK. This is a first for us. I mean, do you get on with both bands in general anyway?
Well, we haven't toured with Journey. I think we did a festival with Journey once, a good few years ago, and we never got to talk to them. I think they were probably doing all the interviews and all the running around backstage. But certainly, there's a kind of shared experience there in terms of the careers, in terms of the the audiences and stuff like that. So I don't think there's going to be an issue there in any way. We've toured with Whitesnake. Mr. Coverdale has always been very, very pleasant to us. Very, very funny. He always approaches me. I always think of him as like the Lord Olivier of the rock business. Because with Daniel, how are you, darling? And I think he's great. He's always been really, really nice to us, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him again. I'm sure it'll be very entertaining. We'll have a good giggle. It'll give me some material, if nothing else.
No, I mean, we can't wait. I think it's going to be just an exceptional tour all around, and so I really, really can't wait to see you on the road with that one. And you guys, you've done, there are so many kind of offshoots as well, and so much stuff that's been so popular in recent years, like the Christmas shows that you've been doing. They've sold out within minutes. People have absolutely loved them. Do you have an idea of where you're going to be doing one this year?
Yes, I do, but I can't tell you. Otherwise I'd have to come round your house and kill you.
But that would be pretty cool, because then Danny from Thunder will be around my house. And so, there's a slight element that will be good. But no, the killing.
Not when I bring my knife. You don't want that.
No.
It's very, very straightforward. We do have Christmas show organised, and we will be announcing it as soon as we can, which I imagine will be pretty much straight after download.
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit of politics that goes along with these things. If you've got a promoter, they want to sell tickets, and they don't want you to start selling tickets for one thing until you finish selling tickets for the other. So.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Is it any way you've played before? Can you tell us that?
I could, but that would be giving you a clue. So I can't do that either.
I tried.
Indeed.
But you give me credit for trying, right?
No, absolutely. You can try all you like. I just won't give it in.
Wonderful. And Danny and Ben shows, again, these have gone down really, really well with audiences, I think, and they've just been fantastic to watch. Again, can we expect more of this? Have you two got anything planned in the pipeline?
There's a couple of shows in the summer, just as kind of that came about as a result of the shows we did in January of this year. They will be, I think there's one, we're playing the Rock and Bike Festival in Derby in early July. It's just, they've got an acoustic tent, I believe, and I think we're going to do it there. We're doing a couple of little private things to help friends out, just for fun and sort of charity fundraisers and stuff like that. They're not open to the public.
Nice.
And we're doing one in Belfast in August, so I don't know whether that's definitely done, but we did discuss doing another tour next year, but we thought 3 years on the trot might be a little bit ambitious, because the audience probably by now must realise that we are useless. So we are planning to probably, we haven't actually made our minds up yet, but we're thinking we'll probably give it a break in 2014 and maybe come back in 2015. Given we've still got, all our limbs and our parts still work correctly.
Well, let's hope that that's still the case come 2015. It's amazing, actually, that we can talk about 2015 as though it's quite close.
I know. Well, it is. It's very close. It's a bizarre, very abstract and surreal concept to me, the idea that I could be having conversations with people about things I will be doing in 2015.
No, it is. It's completely unrealistic, actually. It's not right. But no, what can you do, hey?
Let's not talk about it.
No, let's not. In a couple of years' time, if we stick to that, then it's better, I think.
Sure.
Yeah. And obviously, I think Thunder has, you've split up a couple of times, you've disbanded, and you've said that you will be stopping playing. But you've always come back together at the end of it. Where are you at the moment? Are you thinking that, you're just going to do a few small dates here and here? Or now things seem to be picking up more momentum and you seem to be confirming for more tours, more festivals? Can we see a lot more, expect to see a lot more of you?
I think probably this is going to be a very active year, and I think next year is probably likely to be a very inactive year.
Okay.
In as much as we have no plan to do any more recordings. There's no plan to record again or do anything like that. This year's activities came about purely and simply because of the fact that we thought it might be quite fun to play maybe half a dozen festivals. We had a conversation with our agent, who had a conversation with the festival promoters, and then the word spread, and then the next thing you know, we got a phone call to do Journey and Whitesnake. And so the next thing you know, we've gone from playing 6 shows to playing probably 17. And Thunder's always been a bit like that. It's a bit like a monster. It's very, very hard to sort of rein it in. Yeah. I think the problem is because it's such a fun band to be in. If you get to do one thing, then you can do another thing, and it's like, well, while we're there, we might as well do that as well. And then the next thing you know, you're doing loads. But we've all got other things to do, and that's part of the reason why we split up in the first place. We all had other things that we wanted to do, and it was getting more and more difficult to get everybody in the room. To record and to schedule and to be available. To be honest with you, when everybody came back and told me they were available to do the Journey Whitesnake tour, you could have knocked me over with a feather because I didn't believe they would be free. But they were. I mean, it was one of those moments where the stars just all aligned up in the right way, and it did happen. So it was a bit of a revelation to me. But you know, I'm glad it came about. But yeah, next year I think we'll probably be just Christmas shows. There are no plans to record, and you know, so I think we'll try and make the most of it this year, and then see how we get on after that.
I mean, how come there are no plans to record? Is it simply a time thing, or is there just not really any desire on anybody's part to start recording anything else?
No, I don't think it's that. I think the problem we had was that it just got harder and harder and harder to get everybody in the room.
Yeah.
It just did as the years went by, and I think you have to work in advance all the time. You know, when you want to record an album, when you want to release an album, there's such a sort of a lot of upfront stuff that needs to be done with the planning. The problem is that because everybody else is already doing that, all the various 5 members of the band are all busy with different things. Luke does stuff with the Union, Chris does stuff with the Union, but he does stuff with other bands as well. Harry the same. I'm involved with lots of other stuff besides music, besides, Danny and Ben and Thunder. Ben's involved with other stuff. It's just really hard to get everybody in the room.
Yeah.
I had lost a bet at the start of last year as to how many Christmas show tickets we would sell. I lost a bet. And the idea was that the loser would buy the rest of the guys in the band a curry. And after 9 separate attempts to try to arrange this curry, I gave up. Because I just couldn't get them in the curry. The plan is we're going to do it during the Journey Whitesnake tour.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, but it's taken me 2 years to arrange it now.
Wow. Wow.
It just gives you an idea. It's just, it's not because nobody wants to do it, it's just because there's just too much else going on.
That's right, yeah. In that case, I can hope that, things will calm down for a lot of you and we may be able to expect something else recording-wise one day. Because I'm sure that there are a lot of people that would like that. But I won't hope that it happens anytime soon.
Well, I think only a fool would say never. And I think you just have to... I mean, part of the reason why we decided to split up, both times actually, was purely and simply because the first time, I have to say I was burnt out, completely burnt out and on the edge of a nervous breakdown. Because there was too much going on, I was doing way too much and I spread myself very thin and I just had a lot of other things going on in my life which weren't helping. The second time around, we got to the point where it was really difficult. There were lots of extra forces going on outside of it, and rather than do what some bands do and just say, well, we're just going to take a break and we're just going to put the band on ice, or, we don't know what we're going to do, but we're not going to do anything for a while, we thought it was probably a lot more honest just to say, we're not going to do this. Because we felt like it was more honest and more straightforward to do that. Otherwise, we just will be giving people false hope about when we might be doing something. Yeah. We've always tried to be very, very honest about that. Like I say, we're in a situation where we've been lured back to do some stuff, and we're going to enjoy it. We're going to make the most of it, and we're going to have a bloody good time doing it. But we're under no illusions about the fact that we're not planning to do anything else. And we don't want to give we don't want to give anybody false hope about the fact that there might be stuff around the corner because we're doing this is an indication that we are planning something new. We're not that organised. We're really not.
No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it's so difficult as well because it's, you want to, if you do decide to go for it and do something major, you want to make sure that it's something that's very, very good and not just something that's been thrown together as a shout out to people that would quite like something.
Well, I think it's. I think we've always tried to be very, very true to ourselves and very honest with our audience. I mean, our audience is very loyal and we're very, very grateful. But I think that's a two-way street. I mean, you have to be straight with your audience, and you have to be ensuring that you give the best performances you can, whether it be in the writing, in the recording of a record, and the same with the live performance. And we've always tried to do the best we could, and. We're not really the kind of band that kind of flings things together. We don't take ourselves too seriously, but we do take our music and our live performances very seriously.
And what is it that's kept you kind of in love with the music all this time? I mean, what's the kind of one thing that makes you think, I want to keep doing this. I don't want to stop doing this just yet.
I think it's a very difficult thing to walk away from. As like I said earlier, that Thunder's a very fun band to be in. We're very lucky in as much as we all get on very well. As individuals, we laugh constantly. It's all we do is laugh. And it's great fun when we are in the room together. and it's great fun when we play. And you know, we were rehearsing yesterday, and we just spent half the day laughing, and every now and again playing tunes. You know, it's kind of it's a hard thing to walk away from, and especially when you translate that onto a stage and you add an audience. You know, it's you know, it's a very easy thing for us to do. But we don't take it lightly. We just want to make sure that when we do it, we do it well, and we do it for all the right reasons, and we enjoy ourselves. So, and I think that's part of the reason why we're coming to do these things this summer. But if we don't do very much next year, then at least we won't be jaded. When we do the stuff after that, we'll be just to be there again. You know.
Yeah, definitely. And can you ever see yourself not doing anything music related, or do you think that you'll probably end up doing something musically for pretty much forever?
Well, it's what we know. I mean, it's what we all do. I mean, we're all involved in music in all kinds of ways. I don't just look after the band. I and sing. I also look after other people and give people advice. I do consulting. I make films. I've got all kinds of bits and bobs that I do, but it's all music based.
Yeah.
And I think that's it's what you do. I think we've been doing it a long time now. I think we'd all be rubbish at driving cabs, probably.
It'd be a story for people to tell at the end of the night out there. You'd never guess who my cab driver was.
Maybe. If anybody knew who they were talking about, of course.
Well, of course, yeah, that would be a bit of a problem. You could tell people, and then they could, they might not believe you, and then they'd have missed out on one of their biggest chance encounters of a lifetime.
Yes, indeed. Yes, there are those moments that we miss. I missed Stevie Wonder in a pizza restaurant once.
Oh, really?
A long time ago, yeah. We were launching an album, and we'd been to, I forget where it was. I think it was a race meeting, actually, with a whole bunch of press and media, and we had a very nice time, very funny, summer's day. Everybody had a great time betting on horses. We really enjoyed ourselves. And we came into London afterwards, and Luke knew this guy who had a restaurant, and we went to this pizza restaurant in Knightsbridge or somewhere like that. When we got there, the guy said, "Oh, you just missed Stevie Wonder."
No way!
He said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Yeah, he came in, had a pizza, and did us a little set on the piano." And we couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Completely it was a long time ago. Completely impromptu. I don't know whether he's making it up, but all the people in the restaurant that I spoke to, he either paid them all to lie, or he was telling the truth. I couldn't believe it. Absolutely choked. So there you go. These things happen.
No way. Well, that's a story and a half.
What you get sometimes.
It is. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to chat today.
No problem.
It has just been an absolute pleasure, and I'm going to try and avoid going too fangirly here, but really, it's just been amazing to talk to you.
You're very kind. Thank you very much.
So thank you. And we really, really, really can't wait to see you in actually what is only a few weeks' time.
Take care.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.